Welcome everybody to the inaugural Left Click Culture podcast. My name is Chris. I'll be taking the reins as main host today. This podcast will be covering a number of topics, including but not limited to games, gaming, design, which is Joe's area of expertise, and content creation in general. We're going to begin with a little bit of intros about ourselves. As I said earlier, my name is Chris. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. Love just about everything there is about games and gaming. Been fully immersed in that culture for quite some time now. So hi, how's it going?
My name is Joe, and up until about 3 years ago, I was strictly a graphic designer. Then I became a web developer through a process of building sites from WordPress to e-commerce platforms and learning different web ecosystems and different development platforms through the process. So I started Left Click Culture. I am a product designer and web developer at Left Click Culture.
I'm Nick. I sometimes stream once in a while when I feel like it. I play a lot of different games sometimes, mainly Hearthstone and Overwatch at the moment, simply because I can't go wrong with Overwatch. Been playing games my whole life. I hate my life. Working at a furniture store. So that's really about it at the moment.
Hey, gotta do what you can do to support those hobbies, right?
Yeah, classic.
Very true.
Classic furniture store.
So, funny that you should mention Overwatch, because I think that's a pretty good place to start, given that everybody's hearts, souls, fingers have been devoted to playing this game, us included, and pouring just stupid amounts of time in this game. Not as much time, of course, as that guy who already hit level 100 within a week of the game's launch. But yeah, Overwatch is a pretty fun game. I think so, at least.
Yeah, I
Feel
mean,
free to chime in here.
I didn't play a lot of TF2, which I do think it reminds me a lot of. But I mean, I played it a good amount. I probably played more than the average gamer has played of TF2, but not more than the TF2 players played TF2. And Overwatch has that same kind of nostalgic feel, but also it adds a variety of characters, which changes the chemistry of the game a bit. So it's not so straightforward with roles, and you can't always play what you want to play. You have to play what goes to the scenario. You can't just be like, oh, I'm a soldier. This is this. It's like,
So
well,
you
you're going to
encounter those
be,
people.
yeah. And they
That's
kind
real
of,
life.
yeah.
That's one of my, compared to a lot of games recently, that it's more you have to adapt to the playstyle type thing. It's not, pick one class and you're stuck with that. Where, games like League or Dota or some other games are like, okay, well, this is what you pick and this is the role you have to play now. It can constantly change during the game.
Yeah,
like that.
So I would say it's still pretty safe to say that we're fairly early on in this game, even though it feels like it's been in some form of beta for a long ass time now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's the seems to be the major thing that some of the thicker skulled people among us are having difficulty understanding, is that change your fucking hero, for God's sake.
Yeah,
You're not gonna win just bashing your head on the wall as a shit Genji. Not gonna work.
You have those players that come over from Call of Duty, and coming from I being an avid Call of Duty player and love the game, and I get it, but at the same time it's like, don't play that kind of game if you're gonna.
Yeah, that's literally not how this game is played. It's all about changing, like you said, and finding what counters they're set up, and it becomes easier as you play with a group of people, because you have those people that you can fall back on, and it's not always one change that needs to be made in order to find that counter. And going back to what Joe said earlier about the TF2 comparison, that I think that's the one that most people hear a lot and would most closely associate this game to, and I don't think it's an unfair comparison. A lot of people look at this game and just go, okay, Blizzard does what they always do, and they look at a game and just goes, okay, what can we do to make this better? How can we improve this? How can we put our spin on it? And I think it's pretty evident that they did that. And we can say largely inspired by TF2 at the very least.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Given the game modes are mainly King of the Hill and payload type, and even the whole class dynamic thing goes back to balancing in TF2, and I've played TF2 again, not as much as some people out there, and not in any remote definition of the word as a serious player since before the game went free to play, and it's always been fun, but at the end of the day you're limited to, what is it, I don't even remember how many heroes are there in, or heroes, how many classes are there in TF2?
Soldier.
Scout,
There's a scout. There's a sniper. There's an NG.
So 9
Demo.
Demo.
Yeah,
Demo.
so you have 9.
And then there's the flamethrower guy. What's the flamethrower guy?
Pyro.
Pyro. There you go.
Pyro, best, I think, most fun class to play. But yeah, so
Yeah.
at the end of the day, at TF2, you can only have so many different variations of those 9 groups. And it always seems like in casual TF2, no matter what you're doing, everybody's just constantly throwing themselves at the point. You never really get a whole lot of core do.
I think the thing, though, the difference to me, at least, between TF2 and this is TF2, at this stage, maybe, I don't know, I didn't play early on, but at this stage, it's more of a have fun and don't care game, whereas
Yeah.
Overwatch is, still in it's in the second week, and it's more of a competitive, let's win type of thing.
Yeah, I think just even the structure of the game lends itself more to that. I've never watched competitive TF2. I'm aware of its existence, but not entirely sure how that works. So maybe some of you, lovely listeners who are fans of TF2 and have watched TF2, can kind of let us know about that. But yeah, the hero diversity in Overwatch is one of those things that lends itself very well to that dynamic and that competitive nature, because you're always trying to find, even if you have like one guy who you feel has singled you out, you want to beat at least that one guy and help your team at the same time, whether you're on offense or defense. So there's that constant motivation to pick that best person for the scenario, and you've got 21 different choices, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's 21 heroes.
There you go.
I'm having a lot of fun with the game.
Yeah, same here. I think we're all pretty excited for the introduction of the competitive game type later on this month.
I'm really glad, because I saw a rumor floating around yesterday or something that it was delayed till July.
Yeah, they were
It was
pretty
just,
quick to stamp that one out.
Yeah.
Some
If
intern
it
probably
was,
got
if it was
fired.
delayed, I would have honestly been pretty upset, because they had a competitive mode for, in the beta originally early on, and
Mhm.
obviously it's not in long. However, if it's been worked on that long, I expect it to be good, at least coming from Blizzard. Whereas
Yeah.
TF2's competitive launched months ago, kind of beta-ish form, and it has since had an update since launch.
Yeah, say what you will about Blizzard, but they've got that like almost Nintendo level of polish on everything that they put out, because they're just quality. Launches aren't their strong suit, but they put out
No.
some quality stuff. So
But speaking of
the competitive
launches,
thing should be interesting.
I honestly think this was the smoothest launch of any like big AAA game
Yeah.
I played in years. Like,
It's
they
pretty nice.
didn't. You weren't able to get on until about 10 after, but it wasn't because the servers were full. They just didn't turn them on yet. They turned them on late.
Yeah.
I mean, and once they turned them on, everybody was able to get in without problems. I didn't have a single issue.
Yeah, it was
Surprisingly.
pretty nice. I had quite a few issues in the beta just like getting dropped, and I think that's only happened to me once since the game went live, so not a whole lot of complaints on my end personally. Especially
You
compared
know-
to something like The Division, where we all had
Oh
fun
my
trying to
God.
get into that game
Yeah, it
on
was.
launch.
I think it was an hour. An hour we had to wait before we got on.
I didn't
and
even try to get in on launch. I was like, not even
At
worth it.
least it wasn't another Diablo 3, so we can all be thankful.
Whoa. Diablo 3 is an excellent game. Spent
You
many
play
an
it on
hour.
launch?
No.
Then you have no idea dude. It was a mess. It was bad. That was probably one of the worst launches I've ever been a part of.
You were you sat there with Diablo 3?
Yeah, man, I played it on launch at midnight, and like it was terrible.
Jesus
Thankfully,
Christ.
I was late to Diablo, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Oh god, it was so bad. But anyway,
Yeah, continuing on the Overwatch hype train, gonna go over a little bit just about like our general likes, dislikes, all that kind of fun stuff. I've had a surprising amount of fun being support characters personally. I don't normally gravitate towards support, but with this game, I've really tried to approach it with the mindset of I'm going to go in and play what the team needs and see how that works out. And turns out more often than not, the team needs a support. And Mercy's become, I hate to use the term my main, but she's my like default support And I'm trying to learn Lucio right now because he's just all over the meta for this game. He's a really potentially powerful hero once you get the hang of him, and it's been pretty enjoyable. I haven't played tank nearly as much as I have in the beta, and I'm kind of okay with that in all honesty. So what are you guys liking so far about the game?
Likes everything but McCree, dislikes McCree. So,
Oh,
God, I just
I
hate
don't like
McCree.
it
So,
stunned,
like,
man.
the thing, like, in a serious note though, like, I like the game for the most part. I like that I like the microtransaction part. That's a big, gray area for a lot of people, but the fact that it's cosmetic only and they're not really terribly priced, I have no issues with that. And I like that they give you the ability to buy those and unbox stuff.
Yeah. Another good
Because
complaint I've seen about that is that it's random loot, and at that point I'm just like, how better, like, I'm with you on this one. I think it's fairly good. This is the way you should approach microtransactions for a game like this. But I just don't understand the complaints about it. It's just like, how much
I
more do
think
you
it's
want?
I think they look at games in the past, such as Call of Duty, where it did with Black Ops 3. They started as cosmetic only items, and you look at the game now and they put weapons in, and some of them are pretty OP weapons. So I get that.
Classic. Love me some OP weapons.
At the same time, it's Blizzard, so I trust what they're doing. I really do.
Do you think it's that people
blindly?
want that elite type of shop? Where
They
they
want
want to
what?
be able to buy the specific skin that they like.
Maybe,
Like,
but
they
I
want
still,
that Black Reinhardt skin, and that's all they want.
But
They've spent
here's-
$50 and they
maybe.
haven't gotten it.
Maybe. I think though the complaints they're validated, but people aren't taking a look at what the microtransactions bring to the game. So I mean, going forward, all DLC and everything is going to be free. Like, it's automatic free game updates. You don't have to pay for maps. You don't have to pay for heroes. It's all free
Which
that
is
you're
pretty
getting. And
fantastic I'm
because we have these types of microtransactions.
I'm all
So
for that.
I can't complain at all.
And I could think you can even argue against the league counter system with this because you get that currency if you get duplicates. So eventually you can save up to buy that skin if you really want it, and you're just getting shafted by RNG.
Exactly. And you know what? With the way Blizzard works, the drop rates, from what I've noticed, aren't that terrible. I mean, I know in Hearthstone there actually is a pity timer on card packs. You can't open more than 40 of the same card pack without getting a legendary. There's people that know that. So if you're opening 40 card packs in a row, you can't go. It's sometimes it happens every once in a while. You might go like 42 or 43, but you are guaranteed a legendary within those certain number of packs. And it seems like they have something similar. I haven't seen anything, but
I've opened
I
like
wouldn't doubt it.
30 now. And I've probably gotten like 6 legendary skins at least.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of luck involved, but no, I like that. I like the variety of heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun game. To get into my dislikes, you don't have to play with a team, with people. It helps. I mean, with us playing together, it's good because, we generally tend to know what each other's going to play, whether it be support, tank, or just a straight up, assault.
Yeah.
So, and we're fine with switching between whatever, so it's fine. But I've played a bunch solo, and I'm usually stuck playing the same one or two characters because nobody else wants to play them. And
Yeah, it's also
there
my
are-
experience.
There are the rare games where you won't get that, and people are super nice. But with the way it is right now, you're never gonna get it perfect.
Yeah.
One dislike that I've kind of have is I've been playing a little more support, mainly Zenyatta. There isn't many supports other than Mercy that really, to my experience at least, do a decent amount of healing in a short amount of time.
Yeah, Mercy does the most heals per second through direct healing, and then Zenyatta does second most with his direct heal, but you have to maintain line of sight, and Lucio does the least amount of heals per second, I believe, unbuffed. So it'd be nice to see an additional support in that regard, I think.
Yeah, I said like it'd be nice to get another direct support where you don't necessarily have to be in line of sight per se.
Yeah, a lot of people
Um,
don't understand that, and it can be frustrating as a support at times when they're just like, "I need heals," and I'm just like, "You're halfway across the map. You're dead. Sorry, what
exactly.
you can do about it."
No, and then I mean another big dislike for me is obviously McCree. I think for the I think for the most part that a majority of the heroes are pretty balanced in terms of counters and whatnot, but with McCree when it comes to being 2 feet away, getting stunned, and taking away 500 health if you're a tank, or if you're playing Roadhog, for example, and you get stunned by McCree and he shoots you with his revolver or whatever, yeah, you don't stand a chance. You're pretty much dead. And I'm not a fan of that at all.
Yeah,
I know they said they're working on a fix of sorts, which I like. What that fix is going to be, who knows? But I like that they at least acknowledge that, yeah, we're working on this and something's coming in the future.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that the reception back and are actively listening to the criticisms, both positive and negative of the game.
But yeah, that's about it for me.
So what about you, Joe? What are some of your general likes and dislikes
Um,
right now?
yeah, I think Nick made a good point about how if you try to play alone, it's kind of difficult because people coming into the game, like the audience is so broad in a sense. It's not like your typical shooter audience, So it like TF2, you can go in and you can play pretty much the class you wanted because the people around you usually were good at the game. The game's been around for a while, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And for this, I feel like the classes kind of shock people. The abilities, if you haven't played a game where you're used to having not only your melee abilities but also special abilities and timing and things like that. So bringing all of those elements of different games together seems to be confusing to people. I've really enjoyed it. I think, and it's funny, I watched a bunch of the documentary series talking about how Blizzard really felt this game was kind of like, I mean, it's obvious that this is their big launch, this is their comeback, but really how sad they were after Titan and how happy they are now that Overwatch is here. And it's funny that they talk about the character creation, like Soldier, he has a noob tube, he has auto aim, he runs around and he hits you pretty much every shot. It's funny, like, so the things that would
character for those Call of Duty kids that Nick
and the things that would annoy me in another game are satiricals in this game, and it changes the impression of it. If that makes sense, like, because
I get what you're saying.
that character is made to do that and be played the way he plays, and the people that are it's like they become that character. It's really entertaining to me.
Yeah.
And it's like less of an annoyance. Like if I was playing a Call of Duty and I got shot by a grenade, I'd be like, "Oh my god," just raging. But in this scenario, it's entertaining because it's like, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, in that sense.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, you've got in this game too, where if you're going against somebody like that Soldier 76 and he's just wrecking you with those helix rockets, you can always switch to someone who's suited to just eat those rockets and they don't do anything to him, or you can switch to someone who gets behind him fast and kills him before he has a chance to use them. So I'm very much in the same mindset where I hated the noob tubes in Call of Duty. Absolutely hated them. Hated with Danger Close even worse. But because you have the opportunity to learn that skill set that Soldier has, you know how to counter it. You can pick a hero to get around that. It's great. It suddenly becomes a non-issue.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is like the cool element. Like, and there are a lot of unique one-on-one battles sometimes in some games where it's like you just keep getting killed by the same freaking dude, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go get this guy, and then that's when you're like, okay, what class am I gonna use to do this? And you're right, that's that.
Yeah, it's a ton
element. Yeah.
So one of the things you guys both brought up is when playing single player, and I've had kind of this experience as well, and I kind of want to ask you guys a question about it. Are you guys surprised by the lack of people using the voice comms in the game in single player, or like when you're playing by yourself?
I don't think, even playing with you guys, I think I've heard 1 or 2 people talk. I don't know if I have it off.
Yeah, I
what?
heard seriously one person use the voice
But I've
comms
never
in my entire week of playtime.
I've never heard anyone use the voice comm.
Yeah, I've heard a
don't
couple
know.
people, but they were like more just shit talking than,
Yeah,
actually.
those helpful guys. Do you guys think that's largely because people are playing in small groups like ourselves, or do you think it's just because maybe people don't know it's a feature, or they just don't care enough?
I think it's a mix of they don't care and they don't know.
Fair enough.
I think they're well, a lot of PC will probably be, they know PC players how PC plays. I think there are people that made the switch to PC and aren't necessarily used to it.
Yeah.
Don't realize that that's a thing.
Do you think it's also like it could be like a casual mindset these people are approaching it with, just like, oh, I'm not going to take this seriously.
Yeah,
whatever reason.
I'm optimistic to see once ranked comes out to see how much of a difference there is. Personally,
once the initial rush is over.
I don't have the want to use them simply because of the interactions I've had with other teammates in the game. That it's just not worth the time for me because people are very rude and
they'll just straight up ignore you.
Yeah, and it's not if I'm gonna try and tell someone that, they're just gonna laugh at me. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's another one of those don't know, don't care scenarios.
Exactly.
Really frustrating. So yeah, I think general consensus in our camp is at least that Overwatch is fun. Got a group of friends, at least check it out. You can pick up the basic edition on PC for $40, or the Orange editions, which nets you a couple skins and some goodies and other Blizzard games for $60. Sorry, console players, you're stuck with only the Origins edition at the full $60 price tag. Yeah, and if you're overseas, it's even worse. Australians are paying like $80+ for the game, which sucks. Sorry.
To be fair, though,
you gotta live in Australia.
They all have to pay those kind of prices all the time.
Yeah. Like I was talking to somebody,
sucks, but
even the 1080, which everybody is talking about, like how fantastic the price point is, at $700 for the base model. It's like, I think it's over $1,000, if I remember correctly, based on the conversation I was having with someone for the card, and just like, oh, that sucks. But pay's also better there and all that fun stuff. So
yeah.
This is a podcast about economy scaling, so we're not going to get into that. Instead,
economies of scale.
Money.
Yeah, that's how bills are made and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Inflation. Woo!
Duh. So Venezuela, thank you for the gas prices, and yeah.
I'm going to talk about another game that we've been playing, not so much recently, but in the past a little bit, it's captured our attention. We've been keeping our eyes on, which is Golf with Your Friends, formerly Golf with Friends, a fun little putt-putt style game with modifiers that just recently released its most recent update. The game's still technically in beta, correct?
Yes.
And
Steam Early Access, whatever they call it.
It's an early access beta.
Early access.
So, yeah.
So yeah, we've played a fair amount of this game, given that it only had 2 maps at the time. We haven't checked out the third one yet. Planning on doing that soon. This is another one of those like just stupid little fun games. I think we picked it up for $6, played with friends, and had a surprising amount of fun with it, I would say.
I mean, if I bought it for myself, it had to be pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So okay, another little bit of introduction for Joe, for you guys. He's mainly a one game kind of guy. He's very monogamous when it comes to his gaming.
Pretty much everything.
Very long time for us to convince him to play anything but one game, whether it's WoW or Counter-Strike. But eventually, we're starting to bleed him out a little bit over a couple games between Golf with Friends and Rocket League, and now
Who would have
Overwatch.
thought he had fun?
Yeah, and he even said he wants to pick up Gang Beasts, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude. Gang Beasts looks awesome, man. I just want to be a gelatinous fellow.
It's another game I would suggest you use a controller for, by the way. So, yeah, words. are tough
Words.
sometimes. Yeah, so our favorite way to play golf with friends, I think I can pretty safely say, golf with your friends, sorry, is with some of the modifiers in the game, and our preset being high bounce with low gravity and pucks, which completely breaks some of the maps. So if you guys want to go ahead and talk about some of our experiences with that, I think
What the
personally,
puck?
I like pucks not just because it's a puck, but because it actually goes in the hole. Like when you hit the hole, whereas I've noticed with like the golf balls, like you'll get it in the hole, even if it's maybe a little fast. It'll just bounce right out or bounce over, won't stay in, and that's kind of frustrating. But pucks are super
just
fun.
slides right in there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you can break the game pretty easily and not be able to get certain holes or get holes in one on every little thing by cutting across the course essentially.
I forgot to mention too, we play with jumps allowed. So after you take your swing, you can jump the puck, and it allows you to get pretty creative or incredibly stuck and out of bounds, depending on how bad you are, which in my case is pretty often.
Stuck and out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie.
Nice rim out. Yeah. If you guys don't have anything to say or anything else to say about golf with your friends on that little quick highlight blurb.
No,
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. Or it's a good game. It's still in the early stages, and it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully they allow you to make like custom maps and stuff
That'd be
later on
cool.
down the road.
Get
But
some Steam Workshop support in there.
yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Unless you live in Bangkok, it's the best $6 you're all ever gonna spend. So
So yeah, we're looking forward to checking out the Twilight map here shortly. You'll probably see a video up on Left Foot Culture when that happens, and they're already working on to the Haunted Mansion map, which is your generic thing, but should be interesting and fun nonetheless.
excellent.
Yeah. So, are there any other games that you guys want to mention real quick before we go on to balancing a gaming diet?
Ooh.
Not really. I mean, I could bring up Hearthstone, but Joe doesn't really play, and you play that sparingly, so.
That's okay. If you want to take some time to vamp about Hearthstone, go ahead, because it's a popular game.
Yeah, it's popular. I've been playing a lot of Arena more than I was, simply because when the expansion launched, I was using all my gold for packs, and it's a pretty solid expansion. It's got a lot of cards. The old gods are pretty cool. Some of them just are just fun, not very competitive, like Yogg Thrawn, which essentially
Kills himself every time you play it.
Pretty much. For those that don't know, he for every spell that's he casts a random one at a random target, which can be pretty funny or suck because you can kill yourself a lot of times. But no, overall it's a lot of fun. It's the standard expansion, getting rid of old sets and stuff has been pretty nice. And Arena kind of isn't very balanced at the moment, but no, it's fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I've actually got a question about that now because I played so casually with Arena. Is there both a wild and normal Arena mode now, or is it just?
No, Arena is going to be wild.
Okay.
Now, and Arena's wild mode, yeah. So it'll have cards from every expansion.
Would you like to see a separate standard and wild mode for Arena, or do you think wild's the way to go?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Simply, I don't play enough to make a fair judgment on that.
I'm just curious to pick your brain on it.
It's interesting for sure, simply because of the balance that has to go on between standard, wild, and Arena. Is there are some completely broken cards in Arena. One of them being the 4-mana 7/7 minion for Shaman. It's Overload too, but to be able to play a 7/7 on turn 4 is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that sounds kind of nuts.
And Muster for Battle it's a nice regular card and regular standard, but Arena it's probably one of the best. As far as I think. But Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see later on down the line what they do with future expansions, how they balance them.
Very cool. Yeah. I casually check into Hearthstone from time to time, mainly to get new card backs, and I've been doing pretty poorly at that lately, even. So, keeping my eye on it, but not something I actively follow, admittedly.
Yeah, no, I follow it and I pay attention to it a lot. I'm usually watching, guys like Crip every night that play Arena, and he's the best Arena player, on a man. No, it's I like it. It's one of the I played a little bit of Magic back in the day, and this has caught my eye more than that did. So
Yeah,
it's good.
I'm a huge Blizzard sucker, so that's the main reason why I got
Yeah,
into it. I played a little bit of TCGs/CCGs, whichever one.
It's Blizzard, so I can't complain. I honestly wish I don't want to know how much money I've spent on this game. Like, it's almost comparable to CS:GO, I think, just between card packs and expansions and stuff like that. But
yeah, thankfully that's not a hole that I got sucked into too badly compared to like PB and CS and most likely Overwatch going in the future.
I'm talking about bankrolling
Overwatch,
games,
so.
man. I'm pretty sure I bought friggin' APB server and their new their engine upgrade or some shit.
Yeah, Joe.
All those Joker boxes.
Every year. But yeah, so Joe, if there are any games that you've been playing that you want to talk about at all before we move on to the next topic?
No, I mean I've been pretty much playing Yolf with friends, and is that what it's called now? Yolf with your friends.
Golf with your friends.
Golf with your friends. Yes.
Yolf with your friends.
Yeah.
YOYF. Yof.
Yoff.
Yoff. I'm yoffing.
Close.
Yeah.
Full circle. So yeah, no, there's no. I'm good.
Okay.
Overwatch, yeah. Overwatch is
yeah, Overwatch is great. Overwatch is Bay right now, main Bay.
Main slam table Bay.
So, transitioning to our next topic, witty transition here. When I was lying in bed last night and couldn't sleep, I wrote the agenda for this podcast, surprisingly enough. And one of the topics that I kind of tossed around a little bit was kind of balancing a gaming diet in the sense of transitioning from largely playing a single game to multiple games and balancing, or whether or not that balancing happens. And I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts on this, Joe, because as we were talking about before, you were largely a single game guy. And to the extent we're kind of still only focused on one game at a time, but now you've got multiple games that you can play and like to play. I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts on balancing those and becoming more proficient in each of those, and kind of how you see yourself dividing your time going forward now that you're opening up to a whole new world of gaming.
Yeah, I'm actually insane and I'm stubborn, so those combinations don't work together. I'm also a masochist, so I just do things that I don't love to get good rewards. Not always sexual, but most of the time very sexual. Very highlight very. But no, yeah, I think, for a long time what it was for me, and this goes into more of a personal thing and kind of why I game, like everybody has their hobbies and passions, and I guess this is my I forget what Gary Vee would call it, but this is kind of my escapism. This is what would be my escapism, gaming, right?
Oh yeah. I've long time recognized gaming as my form of escapism.
Yeah, exactly.
Cease to do it at a certain point, so gaming's become my predominant form of escapism.
Yeah, I mean, and I think once you learn to admit those things yourself, you learn more about yourself, and that's kind of the beginning of the process. Is I'm a competitive person, and when I didn't have those areas to be competitive, gaming was that answer for me. So I was constantly on WoW rating. I was trying to be top US, top world, and those are the things that I cared about at that time. Like back in
he succeeded in doing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's not just talk. For those of you who don't know, Joe, he's done pretty well. Once he sets his mind to doing something, he does a very good job of accomplishing it. So.
I appreciate that.
Just letting the people know you aren't alpha.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to say things I haven't done. Just it kind of discredits yourself. And I appreciate the backup. And yeah, I mean, like, so all the games I've played, I've really tried to be something. Counter-Strike was kind of that last effort for me. I was really playing Counter-Strike. I got decent. I mean, there's such a learning curve that I was probably lower of the semi good players. I don't even know how, like I was the 30% up the bell curve, and it's a long.
Did you end up hitting at your peak?
I was at it was Supreme Master First Class, so I never got global, but it was more. I was more into ESEA and that kind of stuff, and we were trying to do teams. I played for 3 different teams, and then that never worked. So I guess I got to the point where it's like, I finished school, I started my career, and I from work itself, I get that sense of achievement, and I don't need to do it in games. So when I come home, I'm looking to relax more, I guess, and like playing.
Welcomed into the world of playing games for fun.
Yeah. So it's
With
more
a serious attitude.
Yeah. So it's become more of a hobby. Plus, also I wanted to do left click culture, and I didn't want to just be. I knew I'd have to play other games to get into kind of like the community that we are building is more of like an all games, all people, all stream community, and so to like be able to reach the people that I wanted to reach, or the people that are young gamers who are like me and they're passionate about gaming and all that, I needed to be across a broad spectrum of games. And it was when I moved to Florida, it become also a way to keep in touch with you guys. So the more games I played, yeah, I mean, they traverse miles, and
even just going back to like 6th and 7th grade, that's how I became such close friends with like you, Nick, as we were able to bond over games and gaming and all that kind of stuff. So that's always been one of my favorite things about games, is just meeting new people and using it as a way to maintain those friendships, even when I'm only 40 minutes away now, or from Nick at least.
Only.
Only.
I mean, it's games have been something I've always grown up with.
Same here.
Essentially, everyone that I've been very good friends with has played games to the same extent that we have. And it's just something that's always been around, and with me, at least in my life, and I don't see it ever going away at any time soon.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm very much in the same mindset where I'll be playing games, with a 80-inch TV if that's what it takes to read the text.
I could see that, too.
Yeah, one of the things that I like about this group, like us 3 in particular, is we all approach games with a similar mindset. No matter what it is, even if we're playing for fun, we still want to be like the best we can be at that game, which is always nice, because even when we're playing for fun, we have that mindset of just like, yeah, it's fun, but I want to win. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I've always been in that since I've played games, and when I started playing Call of Duty, and I used to watch the MLG Halo tournaments that used to be on all the time back when they played Halo 2 for professionally and stuff, and it's like, okay, well, I want to do that. That looks like it's fun, and I've always been a very competitive person when it comes to games, and you guys are the same way, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's nice too. Like for me, speaking personally, I came in late to the CS:GO scene. You guys had already been playing for a bit, so I have the least amount of time in CS:GO between the 3 of us, with only, I want to say, 260 or 280 hours is what I'm at right now in CS:GO, according to Steam anyway. And for me, I came in with the mindset of, okay, I have a lot of catching up to do, and at the very least, if I don't want to take it as seriously as Joe, I still want to do well, and well enough to the point where I don't want to let my team down. It's a big thing for me, is even if I don't care necessarily about the game, I don't want to be a hindrance to the team at the very least. I want to feel adequate, for lack of a better term, at the games that I play. So that's always been like a good motivating factor for me going into games and playing multiple games.
Yeah, and you do always find
And
a
it's
way
tough
to like
at
be
times.
impactful. Like no matter, like maybe you're not the best shooter, with this class. Well, you'll find the healing class that you're great at. You know what I mean? So you're very versatile in that sense that you can pick up shit.
Oh, thank you. And I think, in a large part, that comes from me having a large gaming background because I've been exposed to so many different tropes and mechanics and classes. It's probably a little bit easier for me to jump into a brand new game than it is for some people. Just because I can get in, I can get familiarized with the controls pretty quick, and I'm just like, okay, this is this kind of game. I can know to expect to do these kind of things. And that's been an interesting thing for me because I've always played multiple games, even when like WoW was my main game. I was still playing 3 or 4 other games,
Yeah.
or even 3 or 4 other characters within WoW. I just love games too much to like focus on one game. So that's where I'm coming from with this whole balancing or not balancing your gaming diet kind of thing. Is always having a lot of games on my plate and still trying to find a way to make it fun and enjoyable for me and the people that I'm playing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I have so many games through Steam sales or just random stuff that were on sale that I have to play that I don't necessarily not have time for them.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many games that come out nowadays that are good, that are well made, that I can only my teeth into 1 or 2 games at a time that I can put my time into simply because I like to play a game till I can be very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to be good at something like Counter-Strike. It takes a lot of time to be good at something like Overwatch, but my competitiveness makes me want to be good, and that's where I'm only playing 1 or 2 games ever at a time because I'm spending all my time playing those 1 or 2 games.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad that Joe is beginning to opening up his gaming horizon. Fun. It's been nice. And like we were talking about earlier, we're going to be pushing those boundaries even further once we all pick up Gang Beasts, which is going to be our next little fun game in addition to Overwatch. And the nice thing about Gang Beasts, it's a super casual game, so you don't have to worry about mastering a high skill curve for that kind of game in comparison to like a game like Overwatch or CS:GO or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I'm super pumped for that. I've seen a bunch of streams play it,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like just a ton of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of like enjoyment to come from just playing a game to play, like
Yeah. No, for
and
sure.
it gives you like when I feel like when you're really playing a game to get good at it, you're kind of neglecting things in your life. At least I am. When I'm focused on something, I'm neglecting other things. So if I'm working and playing games, I'm neglecting my all the other things I have to do in my life besides working games. And so when I'm playing work games, doing school, like all those things, it just kind of piles up and you realize that you can't do it all.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with that as well.
Yeah.
Some of my guys stuff there. Can't quite do everything. I don't know if you ever guys saw that pie chart. Was it a pie chart around school? It was like pick 2 out of the 3 when describing school between like the social life, doing well, and all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that one there.
That's that kind of thing. Try as you might, something's gonna give. Just the law of life.
Yeah, and I kind of gave up social life early, just because I don't really give a shit. Like
This is your social
Yeah, I
life
feel you.
now.
like in school, my motivation was always to do good, so I could, early on it was always just so I could get back and people would be like, yeah, look what I did. And then and the more and more it just became like, I want to be successful. I have a dream of what I want to do,
Mhm. This is a bit anecdotal, but I still remember the first party I went to in college. I ran into some people from one of my classes who I like kind of knew simply because they were in my class, but not really. And they were just like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Partying." I didn't think you were into this kind of stuff. Aren't you like kind of smart? I was like, "Well, yeah. I get my work done and I do it well, so I can have that much more fun at these kind of things." And they're just like, "Oh, That's a really good way to think about it. And I was just, yeah, it's nice not having that pressure from worrying about schoolwork on my back when I'm just trying to like hang out with friends and have fun and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's that anecdote anyway.
It's a similar experience, man.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's I think that'll just about do it for the gaming section, unless there's anything that you guys have seen and would like to mention.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. One thing maybe is that I really hope Warcraft does well as a movie. Simply because if it does well, then that'll hopefully mean that we will get more, good video game inspired movies going forward. Assassin's Creed's going out there. There's rumors for
that stupid ass
Last of Us
Kanye
movie.
song.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
Who's Kanye?
Rumors of a Last of Us movie, a Uncharted movie. I really hope these do well. Simply because
Did you see the new rumors about Jake Gyllenhaal in the Division movie?
I did. I really don't care about the Division anymore.
The game I don't care about. That's a world though that I got so into.
Yeah, I liked the lore of like especially the last Echo that was in that game and everything that was going on. I thought that was cool, but
talk about shit vision.
Yep. I probably honestly won't touch that game unless they do like some hard story DLC, which is disappointing because we all had pretty high hopes for that game.
That's a lot
and even
saying.
Then I might not, depending on how expensive it ends up being.
It's a lot saying you still play GTA and you won't touch that game.
When he says GTA, it's like hop in once a month, dick around for a little bit, and then not touch it again for a month.
Oh, sure.
At least there's always something new in GTA, whether it be user maps or they just announced their new their
car,
next big multiplayer thing, the felonies, whatever it is. So they're actively supporting that game still for whatever reason. I don't know how big the player base is anymore.
Maybe the developer's mother loves to play
the real money for in-game money.
Yeah, pay that $100 for $8 million.
You can buy money now?
Yeah.
You've always been able to buy money.
You've always been able to, yeah.
Oh, shit, dude, that's funny.
The shark cards, yeah.
Why there's no single-player DLC, but, it's a whole another story. There's a lot of things that... But anyway.
I got bankrolled by that dude with the hacks, so I never needed to actually play to get money.
That was great. Man, when they released those yachts, though, good thing we were done with that, because I would have been like server hopping and try to find one of those guys again. Those things are like $8 million on sale.
Can you drive them?
No. They float around in the water, and you can like enjoy the hot tub and walk around it, and it comes with some vehicles. Dumb. It's literally a money sink. They need like things kind of like WoW does or did eventually that you can spend your money on just because there's too much of it floating around in the economy. Going back to economy talk.
But anyway,
we've come full circle.
Get back on topic here.
Speaking of topic,
do you remember my rant? Off topic again. Off topic. Generally off topic. General off topic. You remember that rant I had? Like I was like, I do not support the real money auction house or whatever it was, or well, I forget what it was, because it's like it is a gold sink, and I just kept saying it for like an hour. It's just like it is a gold sink. And Blizzard loved it. Like, yes, you're right, Joe. It is a gold sink.
So our next topic for discussion is content creation in general. It's something that, for the most part, we're all a bit new to, other than Joe with graphic design. I had kind of, personally speaking, when I share my little... I had tinkered with streaming in the past before, but been able to either due to computer issues or internet issues. But after going to PAX, I've been approaching streaming with a new found enthusiasm, I guess you could say. And it's been going slowly but surely, but I've been having a pretty good time with it so far. And debating whether or not about getting into YouTube content creation as well. So we're just going to kind of talk about our experiences with content creation, getting started, and kind of our thoughts and opinions and observations as people who have both consumed pieces of digital media content and to some extent produced digital media content. And I think a good place to start would be with just getting started in general and kind of our general consensus and thoughts and opinions on just getting started. We
Day
are
one.
planning stages, day one.
You're not making anything day one. You're not making anything.
No.
So
I think that's a smart decision.
yeah, so day one, you need to come up with a content strategy for what your audience will see. So you need to do research on your audience. You need to look at the different types of media and how your audience reacts to it. You need to also look at what social platforms your audience is really captive on. If you're doing like what's it called, software as a service kind of ordeal, that's really big on Twitter and Instagram right now. But maybe if you're doing like a mail order package like Loot Crate, you'd want to use a Facebook, something that gets a lot of shares, so you can see all the things that are inside of it. Where software and stuff kind of is more marketable in short content bits. So
And what about for those of us interested in producing either physical, I mean like concrete items, whether they be digital designs or videos and that kind of thing? Would you say it still largely transfers over where you should probably do your, well, not probably, you should do your research before you even hit that broadcast button?
yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to reference a channel or the people that inspire you to do what you're doing. It's really good just to kind of follow their lead. Break up your content the way they do. Kind of create an outline for yourself based off of them. So, if you're making cooking videos, right, you need to look at all the different kinds of things. Like right now, the tasty videos are popular as hell.
Everybody's
Super
making
marketable.
Pickle said
very strong versions of
youtube.com.
those.
Yeah, super marketable videos. They're just short bits of content, and if you want to do that, you can pretty much nail it on Facebook. YouTube is probably not terrible, but that's kind of like a secondary source. Instagram, maybe. It's kind of small.
I'd make the argument where it depends on to what extent you want your cooking video to be, because there are massive cooking channels on YouTube.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like if you're doing a
dedicated to food.
tasty,
Yeah, you
your
don't wanna
audience is going to be
upload
different than
a 1 minute video to YouTube.
yeah. Your audience is going to be different if you're doing a tasty video to actual this is how you make a lasagna, So you got to figure that out. You got to figure out how your people are going to communicate and receive your communication.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can say from experience, the first time I started streaming, I didn't go into it with any sort of actionable plan. I just decided, okay, this is the thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it tomorrow. So I just started broadcasting, and it hasn't been great. Learned a little bit about how to shape my content based off the kinds of things Joe was talking about, with taking influence from people that I follow, and even getting help from Joe, and just doing research myself about how to get my name out there on social media, and reading about everything from self-branding to what kind of interactions different sorts of posts see on different platforms, whether it be from like a buffer blog or something similar to that, to even just, hey, I'm doing a giveaway, come into my channel. It's that way I can just put more eyes onto the channel. And I have, as lame as this may sound, an actual physical journal that I brainstorm in and write down my plans. And that's what I've kind of used to help kick off this streaming 2.0 platform that I've been working on for a little bit now. And can say I've seen definitely more success the second time around with a plan in mind. With the next iteration with YouTube content, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because that's a larger time sink, but that's a problem that I have plenty of time to think about before I start tackling that mountain. What about you, Nick? Do you have any thoughts on getting started with your content creation?
I mean, back in the day, back when there weren't many big. Now I come from the Call of Duty commentary background. Guys like Hutch, Blame Truth back in the day, and those types of guys. Those were who I was watching originally, and that's how I got into this whole thing, and Twitch and YouTube and all that. I think that you need to at least know the kind of direction that you want to go when you start off, and in the beginning, it has to be about fun. It really does, because if you're doing this, you're jumping into content creation to make money, or become some sort of star or something like that. You're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you're not going to succeed. You have to do it for fun, and if you're not having fun, then look at it like what can I do differently, or what can I change, and as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're putting out stuff that you like, I think that you'll do good.
I absolutely agree. It's one of those things where if your heart's not into it, your audience is going to be able to tell, and that just creates, in this situation, like an even worse viewing experience for that proposed audience.
Yeah, and I mean, it's in terms of actually physically creating the content and making YouTube videos and stuff. The more you do it, the easier it's going to come later on the line. In terms of like editing the videos and putting together everything.
Yeah.
Because you'll just get used to doing it, and a video that might take an hour to edit, it'll take you 10 minutes. It's just about doing it repetitively and getting into the groove of things. Essentially.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I hear from content creators, whether it be like panels and Q&As, is like once you have this plan in action, just start making content, get stuff out there on a regular basis, as regular as you decide it to be, whether it's once a week, every day, 2 videos a week on the same 2 days, whatever it is. It's developing that schedule and sticking to it so that people see that you're taking this seriously.
Yeah, I mean, like the first step is really that. It's a blowout. Like the first 2-3 months of your thing, or maybe extending depending on what kind of reaction you get, is just make as much as you can at a quality point. Like you shouldn't make 10 videos in a day just because you can. You should make 2 videos in a day because those are some excellent videos you think people will want to watch.
Yeah. Exactly, and you need
important.
You need to be consistent with your content, and that's the biggest thing I've learned from reading people or hearing things from people, is you need to be consistent. And whether it be uploading a YouTube video every day or every other day or streaming every other day, you have to give people something and know what people have to know what they're going to expect when it comes to that sort of stuff. Like, okay, well, I watched his video or I saw his stream, so when am I going to watch it again? I like this stuff. Oh, he doesn't have a schedule, or he doesn't do this often. Well, that's not very good for a viewer.
Another thing too is a lot of these people that you're trying to gather into your audience may already be part of another community, so they have to try to figure out, if you have a schedule, they have to try to figure out when they can work you into their schedule, whether it be videos you're uploading on YouTube, if it's at a good time for them, or something like they can add to their queue. That's another thing too, is finding a good time to publish your videos to YouTube so they will be seen and not buried in subscription lists. That's a whole other topic. Yeah, so that consistency, that scheduling is important, just so people can see you're trying, you're consistent, and that if you're live streaming, for example, they can try to fit you into their schedule. And that's all comes down to doing your research again too, is figuring out when's a good time to stream for what kind of audience you want to gather, who are you competing against. Chances are, if you're a new streamer playing CS, you don't want to stream at the same time as Summit streaming and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the big thing I've learned when it comes to streaming, at least, whether it be from doing it or panels that I've gone to at PAX or just reading other things, is that if you're starting to be a streamer and you want to get noticed necessarily, don't be playing the game that 100,000 people are playing, because rarely anybody's ever going to notice you if you're starting off. A good way of doing it is playing those obscure games and that don't have a lot of viewers. So when someone's searching for that game, okay, here he looks. We'll watch him, and he's got a couple of viewers, and okay, this is entertaining. I'll follow, and then it just builds from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was slamming Chris for that the other night.
Yeah, it's a struggle that I've had as a new streamer. Like we were talking about earlier, I love games, and we've been playing a ton of Overwatch, and I've been streaming a ton of Overwatch. But the problem is everybody else is streaming Overwatch.
I think though, that comes back to the whole fun aspect for me at least. A big game like Overwatch, obviously when it comes out, everybody is going to play it.
Mhm.
But you want to play a game and stream a game you're going to have fun with. And
Yeah.
if you're having a ton of fun with Overwatch, then, play Overwatch.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh,
I have been having a ton of fun with it, but my viewer count's definitely lower than when we were playing something like Golf with Friends or even Rocket League. Golf with York. Well, it was Golf with Friends this time. I can not correct it there. This is back when the Golf with Your Friends hype was at its highest. I had consistently higher viewers when we were playing games like that than trying to compete against people like Firefox and Jericho and Summit and War Owl and, half of partnered Twitch streamers in the Overwatch category. But
yeah, no, it's definitely hard, but
it's tough,
it's one of those things where, you can't always play those obscure games.
yeah.
Just an update, Overwatch has added a very nicely developed mobile-friendly ranking system. Not ranking system, but stats system, sorry.
Have they added their own stats?
Yeah, you can search it by battle tag now.
Hmm.
And it tells you like PC US.
Where is that?
It's
Are you talking about that link that I sent you the other day, or is it?
No, it's actually integrated into the Overwatch website now.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can search your battle tag, and it gives you all the stats, top heroes, stuff like that.
They must have seen all the traffic that other site was getting and just like, shit, we need to capitalize on that.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
It's pretty on the other side, I would say that. Yep, there's Mercy right at the top of the page for me.
Fair.
Featured stats. That's not a great stat to see on the front page. Deaths average 6.8.
Dude, I have 7.28. Don't worry, bro. Got you.
You have more eliminations than me too, by 2. But I have like 5 times your average healing done.
Yeah, I don't ever.
Yeah, sport.
And the navigation on the
Mercy's-
side is cool too.
Oh yeah. Oh god, it goes back to Blizzard quality, man. When they do something, they do it well.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Yeah, Mercy's my top hero right now with 4 hours, and my next highest are Zenyatta, McCree, and Bastion all with 2. So yeah, now that little aside's over, content creation, key points, develop a strategy, do your research, make content, stick to it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
what
this
you
is
guys are
something-
saying. Sorry, go ahead.
This isn't something that's going to happen overnight unless you get like some random ass like strike or stroke of luck. It's going to take time, and if you're not in it for the long haul, and if you're in it for the wrong reasons, it's going to be really, really rough for you.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, and I think everybody knows it. Like a lot of it now, those big channels and stuff like that is luck. There is an amount of luck that comes to it. Whether it be people just finding your stream on Twitch because
It's
now
called opportunity.
Compared to 5 years ago when nobody was really doing this. It was so easy, and you guys like Hutch, where he was one of the first people to do Call of Duty commentaries and put it on YouTube. Just that general consensus is they were there for the early market when nobody was doing this and big because of that. But now everybody's doing it. Everybody and their brother has a capture card now for console stuff, and even high-end PCs.
Even
High-end
easier to do
PCs
than ever.
aren't that aren't that expensive.
Mhm.
So pretty much anybody can do it.
Yeah, I shouldn't discount luck there. And also, you want to make sure you give yourself, every advantage you can without running yourself into the ground, such as are purchasing high quality stream graphics from leftwoodculture.com.
Yeah, I mean, your image is a lot of it while you're starting.
Yeah. How you represent yourself and in terms of your overlay, your design, and how you look on camera. Big part of it. People want a quality experience, and if they don't get that, they know they can go elsewhere because that's how competitive and cutthroat this thing is. So,
yep.
Look out for yourself, do everything you can, and best of luck to you, even though I'm hoping to take you down in the end. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of, I think, anything you do in this kind of industry is that your ability to withstand change and your ability to continue, just continue producing content even when, you are discouraged. Like, things that, like, just being able to stay motivated and keep going when it's rough, you'll see rewards. I mean, they might not be the ones you want, but they will be there.
Yeah. With time and a little bit of luck, you'll see it. It's been interesting to watch as largely as a consumer. There was a period of time when YouTube ad revenue payouts were down just because ads weren't paying that much, and you saw this almost mass exodus of YouTubers transition to Twitch because you have that constant sub money, and it introduced a lot of big name competition in the Twitch marketplace. It made it even harder because a lot of them have stuck around because it's a good paycheck and because they've ended up enjoying that kind of interaction they can have with their audience they don't necessarily get through YouTube. So it's interesting to see how this is always changing, evolving, and what sort of new obstacles are introduced on a fairly frequent basis, and how the majority of people either adapt to it or not adapt to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, and I think going back to what Joe was saying, just as the last little note about, those tough times, finding that fun game, like Nick was saying, that thing you truly enjoy, will help you get through that in time. So will your audience once that started building. At the end of the day, these people picked you for a reason. So, pretty good feeling. It's got all sorts of rewards other than the monetary rewards that most people, I shouldn't say most people, that's kind of
dickish, a lot of people.
A lot of people are seeking, yeah. Have their mindset on achieving when they start out.
They're there for that quick cash grab, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between being there to make it a career and being there to, flip something. And if you're there to make it your career, you're going to have a better attitude about it than you would if you're trying to, like, flip a house. You're not the guy trying to pawn somebody out of an experience.
I would agree to an extent. I mean, if you're into it already, you have the sub button and stuff, and you're making some money off of it, I would say yes, then you can start looking at it to be a career. But if
I'm not saying that you quit your job. I'm saying if you treat it
I'm not
that way.
Yeah, no, I know that. I think the main thing when starting off, though, is you want to have fun with it, because if you're not going to have fun, you're not going to stick with it.
But I mean, if you started and you're a professional gamer and you don't really have a big following and you want to make it your career to stream because you don't feel like you have a lot of time left playing your game.
That's I think a different story, though.
But there's a lot of semi-professional gamers that are doing that now.
No, I know that. I'm talking about like your average Joe that streams on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I know. But I'm just saying it's okay to want to make it your job. It's not okay to try to cheat people.
I know.
That's the point I was trying to make. Is you have to be genuine throughout the experience.
Yeah, it pays off at the end. At the end of the day, it'll be worth it. So, as of right now, I think we can probably pretty safely say that this content creation topic will kind of creep up from time to time as our own experiences grow and develop and we get stories to share with you guys. But right now, we just kind of wanted to go over getting started and our own experiences and those sorts of things, so that to give you guys an idea of, not that's how do I want to phrase this, of what all goes into it. At the end of the day, a lot of people, especially with YouTube, take for granted the amount of work that goes into producing a lot of their favorite content they see on YouTube, and even on Twitch, it's a bit harder to put on a quality stream than some people realize. So that's important stuff to think about as both a consumer and a producer of this sort of content going forward. And maybe it's stuff that you had never considered before, and well, now you know. Stuff to pick your brain.
Food for thought, as they say in the old mouse wheel.
Use that colloquialism.
The old mouse wheel. Oh god, that looks interesting.
So, our third and most likely final topic for discussion tonight, depending on whether or not anything else pops up, is going to be design. And this is largely Joe's wheelhouse, so he'll probably be leading most of the discussion here. But it ties into games and gaming. We're not going to go into like game design or game theory or anything like that, but design from as far as like what's new in the design world and sorts of things that he's working on and designing for a gaming audience and on a presentation platform, I guess would be the way I could best think to describe it.
Yeah, like creating for gaming or creating for a community in a sense.
And self-branding.
Yeah.
Kind of fun stuff that, is a key part of this new media development.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, it started real early with me when I got into branding. I was actually creating marketing videos for different games, even with the game cam watermark and stuff like that. So I was really early to YouTube. In fact, I was not producing the quality of content that most people wanted, though. So I probably should have asked for game cam for Christmas or something. But
gotta start somewhere, man. Everybody's seen those games where it's, you see that Fraps watermark right on it, but hey, you can't afford Fraps at the start, no problem.
Throwback. And yeah, that's when it started.
It's all about making it, man.
Yeah. And I guess, along the way, I picked up different things from different places, and I really got into designing for gaming, I guess, kind of when it suited me to build relationships and network. Because like when I was doing a lot of the World of Warcraft stuff, being a streamer and producing YouTube videos and creating design content was really a good talking point. Kind of made the clan feel a little more unified, or the guild a little more unified, because you were, you're creating something that's like a token of them. So
giving them a banner to rally around.
Yeah. I mean, so it started with design. It started with wanting to help create content for people to help them attract better applicants, refine their copy so that things look more professional, just the way everything laid out. And that's really what got me into it. I got into more of the web development side when I joined a clan called Wasp, and they were really into. They have a really big YouTube following. They have professionally produced hand illustrations that attribute to the original APB game. So they have a lot of really cool brand content, and using that, I learned to kind of manage a brand in a way that we stayed within the boundaries of what everybody else was doing, and we had specific brand standards. And that's really when I started manipulating that brand to figure out how to build my own brand, and I started self-branding. And I've gone through about 30 logos, which is a terrible thing. Like I started off when I was making skate videos, and my logo was like a fridge, like just a picture of a fridge, and that was really edgy because I was super edgy back then. And now, I don't even don a personal logo really. I just left with culture as the logo because that's where it's at. But I've had a Joe Longi logo. I've had Joe Longi designs. I've had Strong Side, Neckbeard Joe, Be Right Back Cough. I've had all of them. And I think the most important part that links back to it is obviously having a consistent name. Like
Yeah.
for a while now I've been going a strong side, but before that it was just all over, and that
I'm
lack
still struggling with that.
that lack of identification. I mean, it's noticeable because I've been doing all this stuff for years, and I think about it. If I did all this under the same name, you'd have this stream of just content that was all branded, the same way. And so now, I guess when I start branding, like when I started Left Click Culture, I had a concept in mind, and I guess I've learned to be more versatile as a designer in the sense that I don't spend hours and hours concepting something if it's a web graphic, like logos and type forms and things like that are brand pieces and they're like the cornerstone of what you're doing. Those take time, but I've gotten really good at being efficient at making things. So coming up with like a simple concept that looks really good, and then spreading that across multiple pieces, or taking a texture or something that kind of ties everything together as an overlay. So I think my best advice is to just kind of find like a really simple theme that you can do well. Like using like a really nice Helvetica font or a sans serif font you can download that's free for personal use, for commercial use, and just start playing around with it in whatever application you have. And you could probably just do a solid white text on a solid color of your choice if you don't have any other options, and that would be, that would look far better than stealing an image off the internet and fitting it into a square. So I mean, basically it's simple design, it's templative, so that you can create it easily across multiple things. You make one thing. So I say, okay, we have our stream highlight series, and that's more of like a free, open, creative. I just pick whatever thumbnail I want. But like the Left Click Culture design, I concepted that out the other day, and then now we have a kind of templative design that also allows for thematic elements, like the image that's outputted from the design I created in the video or something like that. So it's all about creating things so that they have multiple uses, and that they're able to be used responsively, in the sense that, okay, what I usually do is I'll make a large thumbnail graphic that's 1920 1080, and I'll use that then to build out like a Twitter banner, a Twitter post, Instagram post, but those are all sizes that are smaller than your initial graphic, so the resolution of your image will look really good. And by doing that, you've made this large graphic, and now you can downscale the things, they'll get crisper, and now you have the ability to use that for multiple things. You can go back and change it and then downscale it again, but you always have this image that's larger than everything else you'll need to make. So it's a really nice way to do it. Organization's key. Breaking things out, your resources, figuring out where everything is, so that your workflow, design workflow is super hectic when you don't know what folder, when you have 30 different folders across different areas on your hard drive. I have gone back and forth between having all my design files on my computer and having them in a hard drive, or having them on a server, and I really hate not having them in one place, so I've gone to my portable hard drive.
I have, even though I'm only, I would say, a fledgling, rookie designer.
A neophyte.
I am very much an organizational person, so I have it all in one place. I have a folder dedicated to all my Photoshop stuff, whether it's assets to exported files to the actual documents themselves.
Yeah.
And it helps because I don't have to go, fuck, where did I put that picture? Where did I put that vector? Where did I put that, logo that I downloaded? It's all right there, all in one place. Really easy to find. It's definitely helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the things I make, I even organize my files really well because a lot of the things I make, at least in professional career, they're touched by multiple people. So if I make a graphic, somebody else on my team might need to use it. So I need to make it so that it's capable to be transported. The file is easily editable. It's, if you have a font type in Illustrator, you're going to want to create outlines in case they don't have that font, so that way they have that image. So there's like a lot of different ways to export and save, but the key is to organize your save points, make sure that you save everything, because you'll never know when you need it again.
Yeah. Made that mistake the other day with an info bar I made for Twitch. Oh boy, didn't save that Photoshop document. Had to start the whole thing over from scratch. Thankfully, it's really easy.
Yeah.
Or really simple, I should say.
Really easy, good, much. But yeah, I mean, when you first start in design, it's just try to be simple. Don't try to go over the top, because I think over the top designs for a new designer are really challenging, and they often look worse than imagined. And you're all excited because you're like, yeah, I overlaid the guy on the thing with a mountain, and it looks real, but it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, even if you take a step back and like go back to that research we were talking about earlier and look at all your favorite streamers, YouTubers, internet personalities, content hosts and sites, look at their profile pictures, look at their Twitter headers, look at their banners. It's all fairly simple. Like, you want that one logo that's going to be like easily recognizable, and something like you were talking about earlier that can be transplanted easily across sites.
Yeah.
You never see anything obnoxiously complex unless it's... Now, this is going to sound incredibly hypocritical given that I'm an amateur, but amateurish. You're going to see like overtly complex things in that regard. But most things are fairly simple, especially in this very hyper-modern, clean design phase that a lot of the internet's in.
Yeah, minimalism is in. And it's just like, it's all about making it, because design is a solution. We're not here to fucking hang out and have a birthday party. We're here to create something so that we engage people and get a reaction. And we're design is not the fine art, meticulous. I painted this 15 layers with a master series style. It's I made this, and it's a really nice piece, and there's a lot of really well done graphics pieces that took time, and there's certain things that warrant that. But for most of this content creation, branding stuff, it shouldn't be something that takes forever, because what happens is you need to make one thing, and then it takes you 5 hours. And then the second thing you need to make that day, maybe you have 2 videos coming out this week. The second thing you need to make that day, it's going to be like the worst thing ever, because you just took 5 hours to make one thing. You don't really want to make this other thing, and now you're rushing through it. So try to what I do a lot is and this is how this is all up to how you really work, but I jump around. So sometimes I'll start a design, and I won't go back. I'll go back to it. I won't finish it that day. But I won't spend time moving text around for 5 hours when I could be working on something else, just because I can't figure out. It's really about optimizing how much you create, because you want to be able to enjoy what you're doing while creating it as well. It's not about, this has to look so freaking good. A YouTube thumbnail, it has to look decent. There's so many ways to make them. Like, it's just, you don't have to spend 10 years. It's a thumbnail.
Exactly.
In a week, it'll be at the end of your playlist. So
that's one of those other things too, where it's important to remember the perspective and the scale of your project, because it's a thumbnail and it's gonna be, that little box. That's all it's ever gonna be. Yeah. So again, keep it clean, keep it simple, or else no one's gonna be able to tell what the hell your thumbnail is.
Well, if you do a responsive embed, you can get like a 1080 thumbnail pulled HD, but it's it only has to look so good. It only it doesn't have to be your best piece.
On the YouTube page.
Yeah.
On like the homepage, it has to be like eye-catching in that regard, and that's it.
And I think there's 2 points that I really want to make, and I think that I'm good is one is style, and another is to organization. And first I'll start with style. Is you're right. Like when I first started designing, I didn't really, I taught myself how to make videos. I taught myself how to design. I taught myself how to code. For the most part, I had opportunities that led me to there, and I've worked with people that have helped me a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't go to school to do any of this stuff. This is all on the job or by self-learning. And
coming from you wanting to represent yourself
yeah,
properly
exactly.
online and the organizations that you were part of.
Yeah. I wanted to grow what I was a part of and make myself look marketable while I was doing all this. So that's kind of why I learned all of this, because I wanted to be better. And I didn't have a style. What I would do is I'd find something really cool and I'd try to make it. I'd just try to make it and figure out how things were made. And through that, I really I developed my own style. Like my style has always been kind of modern, and it's kind of moved with time because obviously that's how it works. Your style shifts to kind of match what's the meta. But you learn by copying people, by mimicking people, and the way I always felt kind of ashamed of it, like I felt like I was plagiarizing, but really, the way I look at it is like if you're a painter, you're going to be studying Renaissance art and all these other forms of art that you're going to want to be practicing and mimicking.
Limited knowledge of design and art and all that kind of stuff. Tracing is a fairly popular way to get started because it gets you familiar with shapes and all that kind of stuff too. And then once you become familiar with tracing, it becomes like that quadrant stuff that you see all the time.
Yeah.
And it's all about recreating an image at first, and then once you understand the basics of like the mechanics, essentially, then you can start exploring in like freeform.
Well, yeah, because what you do is you learn to measure, and then once you can measure, then you can create depth, and once you create depth, then you create shadows. Once you learn how shadows work, then you see how light works, and then once you see how light works, then you can mimic life. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, depth is something I need to work on currently. I understand like drop shadows and inner shadows and embossing and all that fun stuff, but man,
don't emboss
depth in
anything,
an image is
please.
challenging for me.
God.
I embossed that 8 days Overwatch background that you liked.
Oh yeah, well that's a different story. That's like a dark thing. It worked. It worked in that scenario. It wasn't a bad. I mean, there's some crazy embossing that happens on the internet, but that's another story.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing is there's an article I read by a colleague of mine that he wrote, and he was talking about one of the things that is really big to me is I always am laying down at night and I have 1 trillion ideas, or I'll be somewhere and I'll just memorize something. So one of the best tips that he gave was having a way to capture that stream of ideation, consciousness, ideation. Just using your phone. Like I hate using my phone for some reason. I don't like it. Doesn't help me remember anything. I like writing, and they've proven that the actual not tactile but kinesthetic movement of writing has proven that are better for retention. So that's what I like to do. I have a little Moleskine. I really like the aesthetic of notepads for some reason. I don't know what it is. I have this giant ass notepad next to me that I write everything on when I'm at the computer. And I have one for work and I have one for home. And home is all left click culture stuff. It's what I need to do, the ideas of things I need to do. So I have videos, pages, products. As we develop the site, I'll be adding more and more stuff to this, and it's just a checklist,
Yeah.
And that kind of I use an application called Todoist, and it helps me track helps my team track all of our tasks and stuff like that. And that's been super helpful, just being able to capture what I'm thinking, and you can use it for personal as well. It's free.
Yeah, I can speak to that too, because I used to try to keep track of things on my phone and it just wasn't working. So now my phone is literally used for laundry reminders and grocery lists, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned it earlier, is I have that notebook now where I do all of my brainstorming, my idea writing, and it's incredibly helpful. It also happens to be a Moleskine. No, we're not sponsored by Moleskine, but hey, if you want to sponsor us, get in contact with us. And it's been way more helpful because I have that constant source I can go back to and just be like, oh yeah, this is what I was talking about. It's there, it's referenced, it's easily referenced, and it's been handy, and it's nice. It's a nice reminder. Yeah, so go back to physical media.
Yeah, we're gonna bring paper back because paper's awesome.
There's
We
a
love
reason that
tearing
shit's
trees
existed
down.
for thousands of years.
Ask Dwight Schrute, he'll tell you. Tell you
Yeah,
about
if
what's
typing
real.
works, if you have another method in place for you that works, then stick with that. But if you're looking to get started, old school journal never hurts, man. It's not
Throwback.
going anywhere. Got
Classic.
research back.
Paper.
Yeah.
Paper's so classic.
People, person. How does that go? People, persons, paper, people, places,
Yeah.
person, people.
People, it would be people, persons, paper, people.
Yeah, that's what it is.
People, persons, paper, people. Dunder Mifflin. Dunder Mifflin. People, persons, places, people. Something like that. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, as far as retention goes, I suck at remembering shit. Like, I'm the worst.
Oh yeah.
So
Especially lately, I don't know what it is, man. I've been forgetting shit left and right. It's not been fun. So yeah, journal's been coming in handy.
yeah, and I usually have my best ideas when I'm like laying down to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it. And so if I don't have something near me to write down, I totally forget it. And I've had like things where it's like a month later, I'll be like, fuck, I should have done that.
Yeah.
God, why did I miss that opportunity?
Yeah.
And usually it's content.
I was talking about it earlier. Laying in bed, could fall asleep, started
Yeah.
talking about the podcast.
Yeah, no, I
The
mean,
Moleskine journal, because I had to share with you guys for this time, but bust out my phone and started typing right away the ideas I was having.
yeah.
Because I knew I'd forget them in the morning if I didn't.
And that's how I write blogs too. Like, I don't write a blog in a day. It'll take me like a month. Because usually I'll write like a bunch of little quips down, and then I'll form them into a sexy blog.
Yeah.
So
It's
I have like
interesting.
30 drafts on Medium right now. People are like, why aren't you writing? I'm like, I don't know how to.
Yeah. I'm very much the kind of person where all throughout school and even after school now with written content, I need to finish it in one sitting. Unless it's a serious piece of longer form content, I'll call it. And that point, I need to take back, get that perspective, reread, edit, just work on it over a period of time to make sure my ideas don't change. But for the majority of my written projects, I'm a one and done kind of guy with my Photoshop project, if you can call them that. I prefer to get it done in the day. I'm not a huge fan of taking breaks from projects, and that's just me personally. Everybody's different. Trying to get better about it, but I'm not a fan of leaving things unfinished.
If I take a break, I know I won't finish a lot of things. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like writing blogs is one of those things that I enjoy doing it, but if I force it, it won't be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things too, is just like I won't sit down and start writing something unless I know, or unless I think I have enough to
Just had an idea
finish it.
here. I'll write it down.
Joe and I discovered that we both have switched to trusting Moleskine notebooks for our ideas, apparently.
I used to write a lot of stuff down, and then I don't know.
I haven't had a chance to check out Discord. I think all of us would highly recommend doing so. It's currently a voice and text chat platform that's really well optimized and designed and organized. And in the future, they're going to be adding video calling and screen sharing and a lot of features that you'd find in separate programs. They're trying to consolidate into one. And they've been doing a really great job so far. So keep it up, Discord.
Discord, you rock. And they have a mobile app that's free. It's not on the stupid shopping free stuff.
Mobile
rocks.
app is also good.
Yeah, mobile app's awesome. I use
Constantly
that
working on both of them.
when I didn't have a computer to talk to friends. So
Yeah, it's nice.
because I was moving and I didn't have
They have
internet.
a whole ton of new merch in their store too, and some of it's pretty sweet. All right, I think that's just gonna about wrap it up. Thank you so much for tuning in to the inaugural episode of the Left Click Culture podcast. My name is Chris. If you're interested in giving me a follow on Twitter, you can do so at Chris Butler, capital I, as in the second. I also stream most weekdays on Twitch at twitch.tv/cbutler2067, starting at about 7 p.m. Eastern times every day except for Thursday. So that's the day that we stream the podcast. And I do occasional weekend streams also.
Hey, my name's Joe, and you can follow me at JoeLongiFX on Twitter. I'm also at Left Click Culture, where you can find all the updates and news about Left Click Culture and what's going on. Check out our leftclickculture.com/team page, and you can click the links to see all of our social contacts. And at the bottom of the page in the footer, you will see all of our streams.
Hey, I'm Nick, and you can follow me at Twitter at Dills, D-I-L, and 8 Z's. Specifically 8, not 7, not 9, but 8 Z's.